So let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but is very, very real. Predictive analytics. Is it actually like having a crystal ball for your business? Well, today we're going to break it all down and see how it's about swapping gut feelings for some serious data-driven foresight. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could really do that? Every single business on the planet struggles with uncertainty. What are customers going to want next month? What's the market going to do? This one question, right here, gets to the absolute core of what predictive analytics promises to help with.
All right, so to really get a grip on this, we've got to start with the absolute basics. In this first part, we're going to cut through all the jargon and get to a really simple, clear definition of what this stuff actually is.
Okay, the most important word on this slide is process. This isn't about waving a magic wand or just hoping for the best. It's way more like being a detective. You're sifting through all the clues, all of your past data to uncover these hidden patterns that, point toward what's likely to happen next. And this is such a perfect way to think about it. Most businesses are already doing descriptive analytics. Your quarterly reports, your sales dashboards, that's all about asking what happened. It's like looking in the rearview mirror. Predictive analytics, on the other hand, is about looking forward, out the windshield, to see where you're actually going. And this brings up a really important point. We're not talking about 100% certainty here. This isn't about knowing the future for sure. Instead, by analyzing all the patterns from the past, what we're really doing is calculating the most probable future. We're making a highly educated, data-backed guess about what's coming down the pike. Okay, so now we know what it is. But the big question, the one that really matters is, so what? Why should you care? Well, that brings us to our second section, the strategic advantage. This is where we talk about why this is such a huge deal for businesses. And wow, when you look at the applications, they are all over the place. I mean, think about the biggest headaches any business has. Which customers are about to leave us? How do we make sure we don't run out of stock? What huge risks are just over the horizon? Predictive analytics gives you a real framework to start tackling all of these things. And here's a super simple, real-world example to lock this in. Imagine a big retailer getting ready for the holidays. By digging into all their sales data from last year and the year before that, they can start to predict which products are going to be hot, exactly how much stock they'll need, and even the perfect time to kick off their marketing. It's just data and action. And that's the bottom line, really. This is what it's all about. Instead of constantly reacting to a sudden drop in sales or a surprise move by a competitor, you can actually start to anticipate these things and get ahead of them. It's the difference between always playing defense and finally getting to play offense. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, this all sounds great, but how in the world does it actually work? Right? It sounds amazing in theory, but what's going on behind the scenes? What's the engine that's making all these predictions? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that drives all of this. And don't worry, you don't need to be a data scientist to get this. We're going to focus on the one core idea that makes this whole thing possible. The quote-unquote magic, well, it's all about machine learning. Think of it this way. Instead of a programmer telling a computer, if a customer does this, then they will do that, you just show the computer thousands of examples of past customer behavior. The algorithm then teaches itself the rules and the patterns, and it often finds connections a human would never, ever spot. And this basically happens in two main ways. On the one hand, you've got supervised learning. This is where you feed the machine data that's already labeled. You tell it, okay, this customer stayed, this one left. You give it the answers so it learns what to look for. On the other hand, you've got unsupervised learning. Here, you just dump in a whole bunch of raw, unlabeled data, and the machine's job is to find the hidden groups and patterns all by itself. So yeah, the how is actually pretty elegant when you think about it like that. You take your past data, you funnel it into this machine learning brain, and it finds the little signals that help you get a glimpse into the future. The more data you give it, the clearer that picture becomes. Now, it's easy to get carried away and think this is some kind of flawless crystal ball, right? I mean, it's an incredibly powerful tool, no doubt about it. But is it really perfect? Well, it's really important to be realistic here. There are some major challenges to keep in mind. And that leads us perfectly into our final section, which is honestly one of the most important, the reality check. Because even with the most powerful technology in the world, using it successfully and responsibly means you have to navigate some pretty tricky real-world stuff. See, the tech is just one piece of the puzzle. You've got these three major things to think about. First, ethics. If your old data has bias in it, guess what? Your predictions will too. You have to make sure it's fair. Second, legal. You absolutely have to comply with data privacy rules. And finally, and this might be the biggest one, is the organizational challenge. You need a company culture that actually trusts data, and you need people with the right skills to act on what it's telling you. So we'll leave you with this final thought. We now have the tools to forecast almost anything you can imagine. The challenge isn't so much how to predict the future anymore. The real question is deciding which future is the most important one to predict. So, what would you choose?